Friends, family, bacon fans around the world, welcome to Back Nine Bets at 7 o'clock Central Time in Iowa. It's breakfast edition. Back Nine Bets, episode 30, the Renaissance Breakfast Club. We're going to be chatting Scottish Open, DFS, bets, the whole shebang. It's been a wild ride, people. It's been a wild ride. Right off the top, if you don't have an air fryer for cooking bacon, you are living your life incorrectly. It's 8 minutes of almost certainty perfect bacon. Look at this thing. 8 minutes, your bacon's cooked perfectly. Big bacon fan myself, as you can tell. And I'm just going to put it out there. You need to get yourself an air fryer for bacon. Now, let's see what's sizzling on the side of this golf course. We've got the Renaissance Golf Club, which is going to be where we'll be playing this week. And it is a course that we've only played 3 times, and we're going to be doing a co-sanctioned event with the European Tour. So I took the proximities, the yardages, the whole what you might call it, threw it into a little spreadsheet over here, and this is the proximity ranges that we will believe we will see this week in Scotland. As you can tell, outside of 150, there's not going to be a lot of wedges involved here. So John Rahm is in full play. I've still got bacon in my mouth. Also, cappuccinos are the way to go. Coffee is overrated. So anyway, no John Rahm wedge watch this week. I don't think we'll see too much of that, because we've got a lot of long irons coming into play this week. As you can tell, we got 4 par 5s, but I was looking at the scorecard last night, and the yardage has been reduced on the PGA Tour website to a par 4, and they've taken off a few yards. So still par 5 scoring very important. But as you can tell, we've got a lot of proximity ranges from 150 to 250 plus that are going to be in play this week. So there you have it. 5 par 3s, 3 par 4s, 3 par 5s, and a whole bunch of par 4s. So what do we do with that information? Well, all of those yardages have been plugged into this scenario here, and 150 to 175 is seeing a hefty amount of traffic, because I think that's going to be where the majority of proximity numbers come from. 62% of 22 stats, 38% of 2021 stats to make up our weighting for the yearly distributions that we do on our long run model here on the channel. When we go to the weighting of the model, we're going to take 70% stats, 10% course history, because we don't really know what's going on here. So anybody that's played well at this event is going to be a guy we want to go with. So that's the idea there. We got 10% official world golf ranking points, because that's a very good predictor of success. And then 10% of the last 24 rounds played by these guys, because we want guys that are in good form. Then the 70% of stats has been broken down into 10% strokes gained baseline, 5% strokes gained approach the last 24 rounds. We got 20%, I believe, of all of these proximity numbers to give us 35% total approach. Approach is king. You always want good approach players in your model. I don't think there's a single course out there that does not reward good approach players. 5% strokes gained around the green. Little volatile stat. I had to distribute some other statistics elsewhere, so that kind of got taken away from. 5% baseline putting, 5% putting over the last 24 rounds. Then let me get back to whatever. So anyway, I took the model, I took the course history of everyone that's in this field, and I figured out a weighting for all the different stats. And the 3 stats that I think are going to be critical this week are distance, birdie percentages, and par 5 scoring. Scores go down to like 20 under par at this event if the wind doesn't blow. If the wind does blow, then we've got the wrong model. And I think the wind is going to be blowing a little bit, so it's gonna be fun. But I think the guys are still going to be able to score on this course. It's going to be quite interesting, because if you can get out in the right wave, which we'll see, there's wave splits, and there's some weather that's going to cause some crap for us. So 20% distance, that's it. No strokes gained off the tee, no accuracy, no last 24 rounds. Just anybody that's got distance, we want in our model. And then par 5 scoring and birdie percentages at 15% a pop. There we go. There you have it. So now let's check the model. Let me get my face out of the side and into the boxes. There we go. Welcome to the model, folks. We've got Justin Thomas at the top, sitting at $10,600 on DraftKings. He has himself a AM. I'm just going to do this because then we can zoom in a little more. Because that's what we want here. We don't want people not to be able to see what's going on. So I'm going to just do a little bit of tinkering quickly because it is early in the morning. So there we go. Anything green is AM. Anything that's white is not. That's in the PM. And Thursday morning looks a lot calmer than Thursday afternoon. So any first round leaders probably need to come from the morning wave. Just putting that out there. We have ourselves a few of those too. So Justin Thomas is ranked number 1 in the model. Why? Because he's got some distance. He's got approach play. And he can dominate on the birdie front. He's second in the field behind Cam Smith in birdie or better percentages. And he's 5th in the field on par 5 scoring. Those are all critical aspects of this golf course. And as you can tell, Justin Thomas has got the 4th best track record at this golf course. Very, very good at this venue. I don't necessarily think that he's going to be super popular, but also I don't quite know what's really going on in the, I guess I'm looking at FanShare now and he's 23.5%. So I'm lying. He's going to be quite popular. So we'll have to probably pivot off of him. Nothing. I mean, he's the the first ranked guy in our model. He is a really, really good play. And obviously everybody agrees with that sentiment. And these ownership percentages are from yesterday. I have not been up long enough to update all the things. So anyway, Justin Thomas, we love him, but I don't think we're going to be able to get to him. On the other hand, let us get ourselves to Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith gives us our second bite of bacon on the show. Because why? Cameron Smith is our first outright. And if you watch the show, that's almost a certainty because we love Cameron Smith on this program. And he's just fantastic in every aspect you can think of, apart from off the tee, which, surprisingly enough, when we did that rating thing, was the least important thing out of all of the major stats. So, Cameron Smith, when the tee game, not that critical, accuracy of the tee, not important, you play him because over the last 24 rounds on approach, Cameron Smith is first. This field, I believe, has 15 or 16 of the top. We have got 16 of the world's best top 20 golfers. 16 of the top 20 best golfers in the world are playing in this event. Yes, we have got 16 of the 20 best players in the world playing in this event. So Cam Smith is one of them. He's 6th ranked in the world. He is 2nd in the model. He's 1st in approach over the last 24 rounds. He's 11th on baseline approach, which is stunning to see. Considering Cam was never really that good of an iron player, now he's fantastic. He's got the best short game in the field. Around the green, he's fantastic. Putting, he's fantastic. Both of those have been lacking slightly lately. It's time for a freaking bounce back from the man from Melbourne or Brisbane, wherever the hell those Australians are from. Cam Smith also leads the field in par 5 scoring, birdie or better percentages, and guess what? He's got a morning tee time on Thursday. So that is all we can ask for. Cam Smith, 30-1 to win the golf tournament. Cam Smith, 40-1 to lead after round 1. Cam Smith, plus 160 on FanDuel for a top 20. Hello. Sign us up for all 3 of those bets. Back 9 bets. Cam Smith's obviously going to make the card. That is a guarantee. $9,100 on DraftKings, and he's going to be round about the 15% ownership. So love to see that from a guy that's that cheap. Might even start our lineups with him. Definitely going to be 50% plus on Cam Smith, depending on how we go elsewhere. So yes, Cameron Smith, part of the Renaissance Breakfast Club outright card. Life is good over here. Next up, Scotty Scheffler, creeping his way up the model just by being a stud. Last year's stats are still holding him back a little bit. I'm assuming that if you put the weighting 100% for 2022, we would get Scotty Scheffler at the top. His recent ball striking, first in the field. Absolutely love that from Scotty Scheffler. And guess what? Scotty Scheffler is also second in the field in approach over the last 24 rounds. And he's third in par 5 scoring or birdie or better. Hallelujah. Sign us the hell up. Last year, Scotty played here, and he's got, I think, the 11th best course history at this event. And guess what? Scotty was not the guy he is now. So that course history is stunning to see. You want a guy that's playing better than he was last year at a course that he plays well at. So Scotty Scheffler, DFS, 11.2. Typically, unless your name's John Rahm playing in the Mexico Open, the top guy in DraftKings, I believe, is not usually that high owned compared to the rest of the guys just below him. People like to get that salary discount because who likes to pay a premium price for a non-premium product? Like Justin Thomas. 10.6 is $600 cheaper, and he's first ranked in the model. However, we know here on Back 9 Bets, you want to go south when it comes to ownership. So Scotty Scheffler, he's going to be in the 15% ownership range, hopefully. Let's double check that on our trusty Wusty. Scotty Scheffler, 15.6%. So that's going to be nice to see from Scotsman. Playing in, why would you not play Scotty Scheffler in Scotland? Just everything about him just seems like he would play well here. And, just the rounded green game at a links course is going to be stunning. The putter has been a little cold lately, so it's about time that comes back to form. And then we'll see what he can get up to. Also, morning tee time. Love to see that from Scotty. John Rahm, 11K, DraftKings 13%. He might also be slightly less owned than Justin Thomas. Let me double check that quickly. Sitting at 17% on my trusty Wusty website here. So, John Rahm, like we said, not a lot of wedges involved in this situation. He also has played quite well at this venue before. This is second in course history. He gets a morning tee time. Hello. Everything about John Rahm's situation seems like we want to go there. So Cam Smith, Scotty Scheffler, and John Rahm are the three guys that I really like at the top of my model over here. I think Xander Schauffele is going to be extremely high owned when it comes to the ownership, obviously, because the guy has been playing fantastically. The last 24 rounds, he has the best recent form. Obviously, he won the Travelers Championship. I think he just won another Pebble, not the Pro-Am, the JP McManus Pro-Am. So good for him. He can add another random tournament to his resume, although the Travelers is definitely a very nice victory for Xander, the X-Man. So Xander's approach play, the guy is just super solid. What are we looking at here? His worst ranking is 33rd, which is off the tee last 24 rounds. The next worst ranking this guy has across the board of things that matter at this venue, everything else is inside the top 20. That's obviously why this guy is going to be crazy owned. I think Xander Schauffele sitting in the 20% ownership range. So that's probably only going to go up. He's slightly mispriced at $9,900, considering his recent form is first in the field, considering his strokes gained total over the last 2 years is third in this field. He should be up there in the 10K range at least. So that's the situation. I am also okay just kind of, if we're going to embrace volatility this week, I'm totally cool rolling with Cam, Scotty, and John. We'll figure out some other guys down south. Hideki Matsuyama is frustrating because we had him for a top 20 and then he put some white out on his club face and got disqualified. Hideki Matsuyama. I can't stand the guy. He's just like the Eeyore of golf. Just mopes around the golf course all the time, gets himself disqualified, withdraws after the start of the tournament. Just everything about him is frustrating. Therefore, the model's saying there's 42 points of value on FanDuel at plus 175 for a top 20, but I don't trust Hideki Matsuyama with my pinky, not even my brain. So, pinky and the brain reference there. Have another piece of bacon, Byron. Anyway, Hideki Matsuyama, the model says top 20. We say no. The approach play is fantastic. Recently been crushing it. The guy can't putt to save his life, but whenever we're not on him, he tends to putt well. So I guess you're going to play well this week. Par 5 scoring, 4th in the field, birdie or better percentages, 10th. So everything about Hideki, I mean, he's obviously 6th in the model, 9K flat. Let's take a peek at his situation here. He's going to be around 17% owned too. So that's Hideki Matsuyama's ownership situation. We're not going to go there with Hideki. I just don't trust him at all. Sam Burns, on the other hand, I think is going to be a great play. He's sitting at 19% ownership, so we're definitely going to skip him when it comes to DFS. But I got a plus 185 on Sam Burns for a top 20. His distance off the tee, 16th in the field. Love to see that. His approach play has just been really, really solid lately. Around the green has been an issue. Now, we get to a venue like this where I'm going to take the approach that around the green game is kind of important. However, I think it's going to allow guys that aren't that good around the green to maybe do a little bit better because you're going to have an opportunity to putt a lot more from off the greens. It's a links golf course. You can get the 3-wood on the ball. Now we know that Sam Burns, I think I'm having flashbacks of the Hero World Challenge where he 3-chipped or 4-chipped, bladed across the green and then chunked 2 or whatever. There's going to be a different situation. You can definitely get the ball on the ground sooner, roll it to where you need it to be. There's a lot less variability in that kind of shot. You can get a lot closer more regularly when you're hitting a 3-wood or a putter if you're not that good of a chipper. So that goes for Victor Hovland and Sam Burns, who are both very, very average around the greens at times. So that's what's going on there. Sam Burns has also played relatively well at this venue before. So we like to see that. Plus 185, top 20, leaving him alone in DFS. Patrick Cantley, next up on the board, 8th in the model, $9,600. What's his ownership going to maybe be going forward here? We're going to take a look at Patrick Cantley, and we are scrolling, and we are scrolling, and we are scrolling. Oh, baby. I love the way. Every day. Yay. Patrick Cantley going to be single-figure digits in ownership, friends and family. Maybe a little less than 11%, maybe around about 11%. Either way, he's 8th in the model, is $9,600. And guess what? The guy dominates on the birdie side. He dominates par 5s. He has actually got a decent amount of distance for a guy that doesn't seem like he can pump it out there. And his approach play recently has come back to where we expect Patrick Cantley to be. So he's 15th in recent approach over the last 24 rounds, and he's got a very, very tidy short game. This is not a major, so there's no concerns there. Him and Max Homa both seem to be major disappointments, pun intended, when it comes to the majors. Very good putting. Recently, not so hot. What a meltdown at the Travelers. That's one tournament. I don't think, anything. It's one round in the tournament. The guy was literally in contention to win. Who knows if he had a pact with Xander, because Xander's incapable of winning anything substantial. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to make sure I take myself completely out of the situation and shoot the 75 today. I'm going to make four pars in 18 holes to shoot a 75. What on earth is that about? Anyway, we love Patrick Cantley, 10% ownership. Sign us the hell up for that. $9,600. Hello there. I mean, his odds for a top 20 are plus 115. What are we doing? We've got other guys with odds. Hideki Matsuyama's odds are plus 175 to finish inside the top 20. Why? Why is he going to be more popular than Patrick Cantley when Cantley's odds for top 20 are less? So anyway, just putting that out there. Next up, Victor Hovland, $8,800, and his ownership is going to be somewhere in the range of, let's take a look. He's just north of Victor Perez, so he's looking at 13.5% maybe, which is also a very, very nice number for someone that's he's $8,800 and he's the first guy in the 8K range and he's inside the top 10 in our model because we like baselines and we like guys that are consistently good performers. Recently, Victor has been struggling. he has been struggling. But now, guess what? We go back to Scotland. It's no longer in the continental United States. We know that Victor's capable of winning tournaments outside of the United States on a very regular basis. It's been a little bit of a while since he's played well. But you know what? It seems like his clubs aren't there. It seems like his luggage never showed up. You know what I think happens when that kind of situation occurs is you just embrace the week. If you got a Victor is a very positive guy. We know that. He's always smiling no matter how badly he's playing. If your luggage and your golf clubs haven't showed up early in the week, you kind of just embrace that situation. You say, you know what? It is what it is. Let's go have some fun this week. I don't even have my golf clubs. I'm probably playing with a backup set. Hopefully the new set shows up. But if it doesn't, I really like Victor's chances then because it just changes your whole dynamic. He hasn't been playing well. He's not going to play worse with those clubs. Hopefully not, maybe. I mean, there's always a possibility that happens. And then we go to the same theory of around the green game not being that big of a deal for Victor at these tournaments. I think I looked up, there's 2 rounds of golf in data golf over the last 2 years at the Open and the Yas Links in Abu Dhabi or whatever. And his performances there were quite nice. I think he finished 20th or 11th or something at the Open last year, which is very, very nice to see. Or maybe it was top 40. Whatever. He made the cut. That's all we need to know. He's okay when it comes to links golf. He's a very, very good putter. He's a very, very good putter. He hits the ball a country mile. He's what? 25th in the field, and that's Patrick. Yeah, that's Victor. 25th in the field off the tee in distance. Makes the 7th most birdies in the field, and his par 5 scoring is 20th. That's probably because he's around the green game's a little shoddy. Now, at these courses, if he doesn't find himself in a bunker, he can putt from off the green. I think that around the green game is going to be slightly nullified here for Victor. So we like that a lot. And we probably, if that 190 is still out on FanDuel, definitely going to go and play Victor Hovland for a top 20 at plus 190. Absolutely love his ball striking ability. If he returns back to form, love to see that. And we'll be playing him at $8,800 too if he's around about 14%. So that's what our Victor Hovland situation is. Will Zalatoris is going to be one of the highest owned guys this week. He is sitting at the top of this ownership board at roughly 24%. So a quarter of the field is on Willie Z. Understandably so. The guy's a ball striking phenom. $9,300, grossly mispriced. This has a major field to it. So the field's got 16 of the top 20 golfers in the world playing, like we've said multiple times already. I think Willie Z is going to do fantastic stuff when it comes to this week's performance. Therefore, if we want some sort of exposure on Will Zalatoris, we got him for a first round leader at 48-1 on FanDuel. I did all that stuff this morning. It's out there right now. Go grab a Willie Z first round leader, 48-1. The guy does his best putting in round 1 and 2. Then the weekend comes around, he gets a little jumpy. Why would you not want a first round ticket at odds that are way more than his outright? So, Will Zalatoris, first round leader, 48-1. We're going to leave him alone in the DFS side. That 16% is incorrect. It's sitting around 25. I think it's going to be crazy. I mean, the ball striking is there. The approach play is there. The around the green game is there. The putter shows up on Thursdays and Fridays. So that's how we're going to get our exposure to Will Zalatoris. Absolutely love him for a first round leader play. DFS would love to go to him. Obviously, we'll go to Cam Smith. Why not? He's cheaper than Will Zalatoris. He's going to be 10% less owned. Cam Smith has got potentially even more upside than Will Zalatoris in a situation where if it gets windy, we know Cam Smith has got a very tidy short game justified by his blue number 1 over there. So that's what's going on. Colin Morikawa, I want nothing to do with this week. I'm a big believer that in windy conditions, Colin Morikawa he can't be the rocket scientist that he is when it comes to his approach play. I think the guy is very detail oriented. I think he's a very, okay, what's my number? I want to hit it to that yardage. In the wind, I think you have to feel your shots more. And Colin Morikawa, I feel like, is more of a robot when it comes to swinging versus a feely, I'm going to hit this kind of canvassy painting kind of situation versus Okay, give me a stock 7-9 to land at 185. There we go. So Colin Morikawa is a definite fade. Check. He did win the Open last year, but the wind was down for the most part. So bear that in mind. Check. 67th in the field last year. It was windy as balls. Who the heck knows what's going to happen again this week? So Colin Morikawa is out for me. Now, getting to a guy that plays a lot better when the wind shows up because he's got a tidy short game. He's very good at feeling his approach play. He can hit the shot that requires to be painted. When Jordan Spieth is provided with a beautifully white, big blank canvas of a hole, the guy can paint the most beautiful pictures with any shot that you could paint under the sun. He is just spectacular, and his recent form is kind of starting to make its way up there. He's playing a lot better lately. The putter also has been a major concern, but guess what? Recently, it's been a little bit better. He's he was sitting out in like the hundreds a while ago, so he's no longer losing strokes. He's just not gaining strokes as regularly as we expect from Jordan Spieth, which is fine. It means it's trending in the right direction. I'm okay going to Jordan Spieth in fantasy golf, where he will be in the 16% ownership range, which is still fine. You're getting a guy that can absolutely win this golf tournament. The windier it gets, the better it's going to be for Mr. Spieth. He's got length off the tee. We know he can absolutely crush the par fives. He can make a lot of birdies. He's 12th and 9th in both those departments. He has won an Open before. Jordan Spieth, sign us up, $8,900. Salary saver guy that can absolutely win this tournament at 10% less ownership than Will Zalatoris. So that's the situation there. Then we get into the next guys in the pink, 13 and 14th. Oh, guess what? Victor Hovland is a breaking 100 outright as well, and a first round leader. So if you're looking to get super aggressive, he is the final guy added to our card so that he can be on there at, I think, 35-1. Victor Hovland. I really like his chances this week, and I think that number is very nice. Max Homer is our third outright, which we will be going to. He's 60-1. Max Homer has won 2 golf tournaments this calendar year, or this season, sorry. 2 golf tournaments. In his last 10 events, he's finished inside the top 20. In his last 10 events, he's finished inside the top 27 times. And FanDuel hung a plus 300 for a top 20 on Max Homer. I think it's kind of down to round about plus 230 now. So it's probably outside of the value range there by a few points, but I still think that Max Homer's numbers have not caught up to his recent play. If you want to bet the plus 220 on FanDuel, go ahead and do that. I think it's a really good play too. He's just a phenomenal golfer right now. His consistency as well is just fantastic. From a ball striking standpoint, I was looking at his numbers, and he has not lost on approach or off the tee in like those 10 tournaments. Whenever he finished outside the top 20, it was because of the around the green game or the putting, which we all know is very volatile. So we know we're going to get incredible ball striking from Max Homer. He's 11th in the field ball striking wise. Sign us the hell up for that. And Max Homer's ownership is not necessarily going to be we're scrolling. So that's always good. He's 13. Yeah, Max Homer, 13% owned at 8K. An 8K guy who's finished inside the top 27 out of his last 10 starts. The 2 times he missed out of the 3 were in majors. This is not a major. So Max Homer is a really smash play for me at 8K. I could see myself rostering 50% Max Homer. And the same goes for Keegan Bradley. Our 4th outright on the card, I think he's 60-61 on Bet Rivers. It's been a while since COVID, but we're still kind of struggling here, folks, especially when I start rambling. So we'll wrap it up soon. Keegan Bradley, over the last 24 rounds, is 5th in the field in putting. I repeat, Keegan Bradley, over the last 24 rounds, is 5th in the field in putting. The last 2 tournaments he's played in, he's gained strokes putting, not a lot, but guess what? His approach play in those last 2 tournaments was magnificent. Look at that number 2 there in the approach play over the last 12 rounds. He's 2nd in the field behind Hideki. So Keegan is ball striking the crap out of it. He's 13th in the field in ball striking over the last 24 rounds. He's 5th in the field in strokes gained total over the last 24 rounds. What on earth is going on here? Keegan Bradley, 60-61 to win this tournament. He plays well in crappy weather. I think his mental approach to the golf game, he gets distracted by the weather, which means he doesn't get as jumpy and as Michael Jackson-y when he's trying to approach the golf ball. Love to see that from Keegan Bradley. So we're going, and Max Homa is also, he's not a first round leader because the wave, he's in the PM wave for the first round. So we don't want any of that. The weather for the PM wave is going to be disgusting. Look at this. We got this is the, look here. It's going to ramp up for days. So we don't want anything to do with that in the afternoon. So that's what's going on in the afternoon with the weather side of things. Keegan Bradley, first round leader. He's in the morning wave. So we like to see that from Keegan. And I mean, everything about his game is just trending in the absolute right direction. He's very, very solid when it comes to par 5 scoring or birdie or better. That has 38% of last year's stats, which were incorporating his crappy putting. This year, he's playing much better. He's putting much better. If we can get the around the green game, which is typically really good, firing, and Keegan is going to win a tournament this year. He has to win a tournament. He can't strike a ball that well and putt this well and not win golf tournaments. It's time. Let's go. If his ownership is also, I think his ownership is going to be kind of down in the single figures at $7,900. A guy that's got the 5th best proximity numbers. I mean, recent approach play in the field. What are we actually doing not playing Keegan Bradley? I love Keegan Bradley this week. Keegan Bradley, 8% ownership. I mean, what? What are we doing? So sign us up for Keegan Bradley. Probably going to have him in like half our lineups, which is going to be fun. So we'll take that chance and see what goes on. Joaquin Niemann is next up. He's a first-round leader candidate. He is a first-round leader for us. 50-1, I think, on PointsBet. Joaquin Niemann, in 11 starts in 2022, has had a first round where he's gained more than 4.8 total strokes. 5 of the 11 times he's teed it up. So about half the time, Joaquin Niemann is gaining almost 5 strokes in the first round. Yes. 50-1, first round leader, $8,600 for Joaquin Niemann. He's going to be also around about the 10% single figure range when it comes to ownership, probably. I'm not going to keep looking for ownership anymore because that's getting a little lame. He's an AM guy, so that's what we love about him. Off the tee, he's crushing it. The distance is 10th in the field. Recent approach play, starting to get better there. We had that really sketchy period of time where, he had a few bad tournaments. He's around the green game. He's actually really, really good lately. He's really improving on that. Also, recently, not so much, but I think he's bouncing back. He had a bit of a down dip. Par 5 scoring, birdie or better percentages for Joaquin. Beautiful stuff. Everything about Joaquin Niemann suits this golf course to a T. $8,600, kind of spendy. I think people are going to be off of him. Let's take a peek at what his situation is going to be like. I think he's going to be a really interesting character. I don't see him anywhere near Joaquin. Joaquin Niemann is 8% owned as well. So that's going to be stunning. Sign us up for him. He's one of our guys. 15th in the model. Give us single figure digit ownership. Hello. Cool. None of these guys really appeal to me none of these 3 guys really appeal to me outside of Justin Rose. Depending on his ownership, keep an eye on that. He is an interesting character because he just gets it done somehow. He's going to go back to a links course. I'm sure he's played that many, many times. That's what's going on there. Let's get to Cameron Young, though. When it comes to distance in the field, he is first. And guess what? He's had 2 reasonably average, rather shocking last 2 tournaments where Cameron Young was in contention at the Memorial to probably rack up his 4th straight top 3 and then had one of the biggest meltdowns I've ever seen from a golfer. So Cam Young blew it at the Memorial. I think we even had him for an outright there. Now we go to a course that requires distance in order to succeed is the potential blueprint for golfers here. We know that guys that with distance have done well in the past. Cameron Young is the best in the field when it comes to yardage off the tee. He's also really accurate, which is another. I mean, don't get me wrong, accuracy is going to help you. If you can hit it far and in the fairway, it's much better than being in the rough. That's obviously the case. But being in the rough is not as penal here as it is elsewhere. So Cam Young, love that play. The recent approach play, not so hot, but we know what he's capable of. We saw that 3-run event stretch where he was just dominating. He's kind of tidy around the greens. He's really worked on that. He's, made a massive improvement in that aspect of his game. The putting has let him down lately. We know putting can be volatile. We know putting can pop at any moment. Sign us up. He makes a lot of birdies, ninth in the field. His par 5 scoring is very, very concerning to me. I don't understand how someone that hits it that far struggles on par 5s. It just doesn't make any sense to me. He hits it so far, and yet he's around the green game, he's tidy, he's typically a good putter. What is going on the par 5s, Cam? So get it together. Luckily, they've changed one of the par 5s, which is still par 5 length, to a par 4. Hopefully, he doesn't realize he's playing a par 5 on the par 4, and life goes on. So Cameron Young is going to be our outright. I think it's our final outright on the card. 60, what? What the heck was he? Cameron Young, 60-1. We love Cameron Young on this course. I think he's also got a morning tee time, has he? No, he does not. So he is out. Who was our other first-round leader? Will Zalatoris and Joaquim. Okay, so those are the 3 guys we're going with instead of Cameron Young and Max Homa. The 2 guys we're going with there. So that's what's going on there. We keep making our way down the board. Cameron Young, off the tee, distance, love to see that stuff. Keith Mitchell, also off the tee, distance-wise, 13th. Very, very nice, tidy stuff there. Got a very good short game too. The around the green is a bit of a problem, but we know he can get very, very sexy with the putter. 10th in par 5 scoring and 16th in birdie or better percentages. Let's go. If he's $7,800 and 10% owned, Keith Mitchell's inside the top 20 in the model. Sign us up. Let's go. Matt Fitzpatrick, obviously too much to like, too popular. Matt Fitzpatrick is going to be way at the top of the leaderboard here when it comes to ownership, and rightfully so. I mean, actually, he's looking like he's going to be 17% owned, which is really interesting. I think the price, 10-1, is kind of steep for someone that people think is a boring dude. So I don't know. What are we going to do with Matt Fitzpatrick? If he's under 20% ownership, I mean, the guy's got fantastic course history. He does well in the par 5s. And his distance is definitely improving. We've seen how far he can hit it recently. I think this is including the beginning of the year. It's including last year's stats. We know that the distance is definitely improving. The iron play is there. The ball striking is 4th in the field. Look at all these pink and blue boxes over here across the board for Matt Fitzpatrick. Sign us up for Matty Fitz, 10-1. Definitely going to sprinkle a little bit of, I don't know. We've already decided we're going to go John Rahm and Scotty at the top. So I don't know. If you don't want one of the 2 guys in the 10K range that we mentioned already, Matty Fitz is not a bad option at all. So that's what's going on there. Jonathan Vegas has got a massive amount of distance. He makes a lot of birdies, and he's very good on the par 5s. He gets a morning wave. Love to see that. Possibly looking at very low single-figure digits for Vegas. That's going to be fun. He's looking at 3% ownership. Sign us up for that nonsense. The guy hits at a country mile. His ball striking is 36th in the field. Hello. Let's see. The short game, you take a chance on a guy that's $7,200. 3% owned. 22nd in the model. Yes, yes, yes. Maverick McNeely, Jason Kokrak, another 2 guys. Off the tee, distance. Love to see that from them. Also, very good putters. Very good putters. Neither of them is in the AM wave, though. That might be a deal breaker. These 2 guys are next on the board. Corey Connors and Cameron Tringali. Interesting situation. If we're looking for ball strikers, Corey Connors is one of them. The around the green game, minor concern. But guess what? Yeah, no Corey Connors. We're going to leave him alone. Cameron Tringali, on the other hand, I like $7,200. Going to be low single figure digit ownership. He's a very risky play. He's also going to be a top 40 bet for us at plus 190. Oh, and guess what? We're going to go. We're going to go to Maverick McNeely and Jason Kokrak as well for top 40s at plus 190 a pop. Love those. Those are two top 40 bets as well. I kind of just been brushing over some things here. So Harold Varner also was supposed to be a top 40 bet at plus 130. We have blacklisted Harold Varner on the show, and we know that Harold Varner can just absolutely break hearts. The guy is the Romeo and Juliet of the modern era. Speaking of the Renaissance Breakfast Club. But the model suggesting it. If you want to stomach Harold Varner, feel free to oblige with that. So yes, Corey Connors, we're not going to go there, but Cameron Tringali, absolutely. Plus 190 for a top 40, sign us up. Sebastian Munoz, plus 160 for a top 40, sign us up. Distance and approach play has been really, really good for Sebastian Munoz. The guy hits his long irons incredibly, incredibly well. I think I have a little secret thing over here that we can see. Sebastian Munoz. So the distances that are gonna, yeah, whatever. I'm getting away from myself. That's what's going on there. Eric Van Rooyen is another guy I'm gonna absolutely go with this week. $7,100, 10th in course history at this event. Why? Because his distance is solid. His approach play is great. Putting, not too shabby. The around the green game, a problem. At this venue, you can putt a lot around the greens, blah, blah, blah. We've discussed that already. Par 5 scoring, the guy does fantastically on 23rd in the field. $7,100. Hello, Eric Van Rooyen. EVR time. Tyrrell Hatton, I can't stomach him. I just don't like how he handles himself on the golf course. I don't like his volatility, especially if he's going to be 10% owned. I don't know. There's other guys I'd go to, like Gary Woodland. This guy punishes it off the tee. 8th in distance. And guess what Gary Woodland does? He's actually not that good on par 5s or birdies. So I don't know. But at 5%, I just love the distance. $7,300 for Gary Woodland. Sign us up there. Absolutely, absolutely. Tom Hoagie, not so much. Billy Horschel, no. Let's get to some guys that I really adore down at the bottom here. Let's get our hearts broken again by Stuart Sink. Yes, Stuart Sink. Sitting down in the $6,400 range is one of the guys that is going to be on our card, obviously, in the DFS side of things. 2% owned, $6,400, Stuart Sink. 24th in the field in distance off the tee. His approach play is 47th in the field, and he's, typically a very good putter. He makes the 31st most birdies in the field. He's $6,400 and he's almost inside the top 30 when it comes to birdie making. And guess what? Stuart Sink has won an Open Championship. So he knows how to get around and navigate a testy European links golf course. So love to see some Stuart Sink involved here. Charlie Hoffman is going to be roughly unowned, and his distance off the tee is very impressive. He gets a morning wave. Stuart Sink does not, which kind of sucks. Ryan Palmer. Is Ryan Palmer not going to be that owned in this event? That's going to be interesting because he's won it a few times, I think. So, yeah, he's going to be 3% owned for a guy that's got the best course history at this event. That's a very intriguing prospect. He's got a morning tee time. He's $6,800. He's tidy off the tee. He's got very good distance. Yes, Ryan Palmer. Absolutely. Let's do some Ryan Palmer magic over here. And you know what? We're going to do some Charlie Hoffman as well because he's got the distance and he's going to be we have to play him in like 4 lineups or 3 lineups just to get a lot of leverage on the field if he's going to be unowned, basically. So there's obviously that injury concern with Charlie. But I mean, if you look at his baseline stuff, any moment he reappears back to how he can play golf, like we know he can, life is going to be good for Charlie Hoffman. Absolutely, yes. Brian Harmon, $7,700, 46th in the model. He is actually really, really good on the approach side of things, and he does relatively well for a guy that doesn't have a lot of length. He's going to be sneaky. He's 101st in the field in distance off the tee. $7,700, 6% owned. This guy he's one of my favorite golfers to roster on longer golf courses. I don't know why, but he just does well on them. So that's what's going on with Brian Harmon. Callum Tarrant is going to be another guy that we like, along with Wyndham Clark. Both these guys, $6,500, $6,300. They jack it. They absolutely jack it off the tee. And then Alex Smalley. Hello. We're just adding blue as we go down this list here, because you know what? Look at Alex Smalley's ball striking. Absolutely love that about him. So these three guys, 65, 66, and $6,300, all roundabout under 5% owned. Sign us the hell up. Yes, 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 yes. Everything about these three dudes in this range, we love. They've all got morning tee times tomorrow. Love to see that from these dudes. So that's great. And you know what? The ball striking from Alex Smalley in particular has been very, very nice to see. So definitely go with Alex Smalley here. We got obviously the short game for these guys. That's kind of the concern. But Wyndham Clark, his approach is crap versus the other twos, but around the greens, I mean, this guy, if he can just get himself anywhere around the greens, he's going to be getting up and down for the most part. It seems like he's been playing fantastically in that area of the game. What else is going on down the board here, folks? I think that's going to be it from me. I've gone into it a little too deep in the weeds already. I don't think there's anyone. We've gone through a bunch of $6,500, $6,300 golfers, which you can really get sexy with at the bottom. Thank you for tuning in to Back Nine Bets again. The Renaissance Breakfast Club. Go check me out on the YouTubes. The Breaking 100 article is about to get published here. I'm almost done with it. It's been a wild ride. It's quarter end, about to grind again today. The power was out a little bit yesterday. The internet was down till this morning. So it's just been a mess. But welcome. Thank you for joining this morning. And we will see you guys next week for the Open Championship. It's going to be a great one. We're going to be absolutely prepared for that. We're going to make some money this week. We're going to make some money next week. Catch you guys later. Linda.